No, the first speaker will be introduced by Mr. M. Arumugam, Managing Director of Smart Die Casting. Please.
Good morning, all. Mr. Aravind, Maharajan, technology and marketing expert with 13 plus experience in digital transformation and artificial intelligence, was a founding member of Great Learning, scaling its digital and marketing operations in India. He later started 42 and more, a Chennai-based digital marketing firm aiding 75 plus companies in India and Middle East. Later in 2022, he founded Cimplify.Al with a mission to democratize the access to AI and make it more accessible and affordable business for all sizes. In 2024, he co-founded Zupcon, a AI-driven ERP for manufacturing MSMEs. His core expertise in leveraging technology to solve business problems or drive business objectives. Thank you.
To everyone present here. They say that in India today, it's actually a sin to start an event without talking about AI. So I'm really glad that we are keeping with tradition and starting the day off with AI. I would first like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you. But if you actually think about it, AI has become, very prevalent in all of our lives. Be it at work, be it at home, you open TV, you watch the TV, you watch YouTube, newspaper, everywhere you go, you keep hearing about AI, right? It's become extremely prevalent. I think yesterday I even saw an ad for an AI-powered bread and AI-powered milk online. I don't even know what is there, right? Only God knows what is probably there in those products. But I think all of us are curious and we try to understand why is there so much hype around AI, right? And we all have a fair idea and we know that it all started in 2022 when OpenAI launched ChatGPT. But to understand this a little better, we should actually understand that AI as a technology has been available for a really long time, right? It was restricted to larger corporations with deeper pockets and access to high-end computing. But in 2022, when OpenAI launched ChatGPT, they made AI both affordable and accessible to the masses, right? And I would like to actually stress upon the accessibility part, because what OpenAI and a lot of other firms did was they made AI accessible as a plug-and-play solution. This basically meant that you could just pick the AI that you like to use, integrate it with your system, and start using it right off the bat. You no longer have to invest in building AI or training models for AI. You could just pick a solution and use it. And this got a lot of people excited, right? A lot of people started leveraging this power of AI to build solutions for their own industries, right? And on one hand, you had people who are now trying to use AI to find a cure for cancer, solve the climate crisis, solve world hunger, and so on and so forth. And on the other hand, you have people who are using AI to create Studio Ghibli images, right? You have both kind of applications which are happening, and both are very valid use cases of AI, right? And it all became possible only because of two things: affordability and accessibility, right? And it will actually help to understand where AI is heading if you draw a parallel with the internet economy. See, internet as a technology wasn't even accessible 30 years ago. It was only in the late 90s, internet became accessible to all of us, right? And as initially it was used for long distance communication, accessing information and so on and so forth. But once it became slightly more accessible, once we all started getting PCs into our homes and offices, we started using the internet for way many more things. We started using the internet to book tickets online, for online banking, and watching videos online and so on and so forth. But when smartphones came into existence and the cost of internet went low, a whole new range of use cases came up. We now are using internet, to order food, book tickets, online maps, watch videos, video calling, watch live events, and we are always connected thanks to the internet. And this widespread adoption of the internet happened only because of affordability and accessibility of the internet. And we are seeing something very similar in the AI space today, right? If you look at a technological life cycle point of view, AI today is where the internet was 30 years ago. So we are just getting started, and it's going to be really exciting because AI is going to completely change the way we operate. And today I'll be covering a few use cases of AI in the manufacturing industry. But before we get into that, I think first it will be better if you all agree upon what is AI, right? Because we've all been influenced by a lot of Hollywood science fiction movies that when we think of AI, we think of Terminator, we think of some end of world situation, right? But in reality, AI is just a software, right? AI is a software that was designed to support humans by processing and analyzing data in an intelligent manner and take decisions at scale. This is all AI does, right? You could take any example out there, but this is what it basically does. And how does it do this? It does this by mimicking human skills, right? That is all AI does. It's basically emulating what humans do. As humans, we have a lot of different cognitive skills. We are good at communication, we are good at problem solving, we are good at learning and retaining things in our memory, right? The same thing when AI does it, let's say when AI learns, it's called machine learning, right? When AI sees and observes things, it's called computer vision, right? And when AI starts communicating, it's called generative AI, right? So that is all it is to that. It's basically mimicking what we do, but the only difference is that AI can do it at scale. Let's say we can type out an email. Let's say all of us will probably be able to type out 1 email per minute. But an AI can type out probably 100,000 emails per minute and send it parallelly, right? Now that is the power of AI, right? So this is a very generic definition which is applicable for everyone. But from a business standpoint, there are 3 use cases or 3 applications that are very, very viable right now, right? Number 1 is intelligent automation. Number 2 is intelligent assistance, and number 3 is intelligent decision making, right? And I'm sure all of you have experienced or encountered one of these somewhere or the other. But now what is slowly happening is all of these 3 are merging together, and we are designing what is known as intelligent experiences, right? So we'll be discussing about intelligent experiences today. And to be very precise, there are different types of intelligent experiences. If you design these experiences for your sales or support a marketing team, which are customer facing, these are known as customer experiences, If it happens internally for the accounts team or for some other teams, it's called employee experiences. And similarly, you can integrate AI into your product or process, and then it becomes known as a process or product experience. Today, we'll be primarily focusing only on the employee experiences bit. And there are a lot of use cases for manufacturing. I'll be just covering a few, and I would love for you all to pitch in and ask any questions that you have. Starting from process automation to quality to safety, there are a lot of different use cases. But right out at the outset, I would like to tell you that all of these cases are plug and play, right? So what I mean by plug and play is you can immediately start using it without any effort involved, right? So the first use case that we're going to look at is document AI. Document AI is basically you upload a document to AI and let extract information from the document and use it intelligently, right? I'll have a small video to demonstrate how this works. You just upload your document onto a folder, right? And then you tell the AI that, hey, listen, these are the things, let's say it's an invoice, these are the things I would like to extract from the invoice, right? Then the AI will scan through the invoice, extract those details, and then save it or into an Excel file or whatever you would like to do, right? So this particular technology is called as document AI, and it can be used in multiple places, right? So we recently implemented this solution for one of the amalgamation group companies where this was the problem that they faced, right? As a company, you have a lot of purchase invoices coming in, right? And you have to actually digitize all these purchase invoices by typing it in manually into your account system. It could be Tally or anything, right? This takes a lot of time. You do it manually, and then you take that paper invoice and you file it separately. But when an audit happens, when an auditor comes in, he'll say, I want to look at this particular invoice. Then you actually have to go pick up the right file for the right vendor, the right financial year, the right month, and then most of the times that invoice might be missing, right? So now what we've done for this particular company is that as soon as an invoice comes in at the gate, right, someone just scans the invoice. And after that, as soon as they scan the invoice, it automatically goes to the cloud. The information from that invoice is extracted. The vendor name, the GST number, the invoice number, the date, all of that is extracted. And it automatically pushed into their accounting software. And a copy of that invoice is kept on the cloud, and that link is also added to Tally. So when you open Tally, not only you will see the details of the purchase invoice, but you also have a link to that live invoice, right? So this is one way of using document AI, but it can be applicable for any kind of document. You could have GRIN documents, you could have quality inspection reports, anything. You upload it and you can tell the AI to analyze it in a certain manner. Some of you might be wondering, hey, listen, we've seen this for a long time. There was something called OCR, which used to do all of this already. What has changed is with generative AI, the AI is trained on a different variety of documents. Earlier, OCR used to work only in a certain manner. The invoice number had to be at the right top, the company name should be at the left top, only then it would extract. But now, you can upload any format of invoice, handwritten, digital, GST invoice, Tally invoice, SAP, any format, it will extract the information easily. So this is one use case. The next is known as knowledge agents. Knowledge agents are basically, as a company, you have a lot of different knowledge internally. It could be product documentation, it could be sales documents, it could be accounting data. Right? So whenever, let's say, for example, there's a standards PDF. You want to check the tolerance level for a particular component, right? You have to go and find the right standards PDF, open that PDF, go to the right section. Some of these PDFs are 50, 70 years old, right? You take that PDF, you go through those pages, you find the right segment, and you have to then jot it down somewhere. But with the help of knowledge agents, what you can do is you can basically feed all your data into this agent, right? This agent will basically process different types of data. It could be Excel sheet, PDF documents, invoices, databases. It will process it and it will keep it ready. Then on the other side, we'll basically link something like ChatGPT to this knowledge hub. And then you can start asking questions in natural language to the system. So this is basically a very simple demo that we did, wherein a sales data is linked to the system, and you can start asking questions in natural language to the system. It will fetch the data from the right place. And I don't think it's very visible here, but basically what we're trying to do in this demo is we're asking questions like, hey, how much sales did customer B, how much sales happened for a particular customer, right? And what are the different components I sold to that customer? And then you can also say things like, can you tell me what are the top most components sold to this particular customer? And so on and so forth. You can just, like you chat with ChatGPT today, you can start chatting with your own data. And sometimes, let's say it's too difficult to process information, you can just tell that agent, hey, listen, just put that as a graph. And immediately it will become a graph and you can analyze it. And you can download this graph and use it anywhere. So now you no longer have to generate graphs of your data. You just open the knowledge agent, you just say, okay, this is what I want, and it will immediately make it into a graph. Right? The next use case or application is agentic automation. This basically is when automation happens end-to-end in an intelligent manner. Right? The earlier use case that we saw was you had to manually type questions and ask the agent, hey, tell me what is the sales data, what is it? But there might be certain reports that you would like to access on a daily basis. Right? Every morning you come in, you want certain reports to be available. Right? Sometimes some of our clients, they say, every morning my reportees send me 4 reports, one from quality, one from production, and so on and so forth. And I'm find it very difficult to go through all these reports. So what we do is we do an automation wherein it automatically, fetches all the data from these different places. It processes that information and then sends it as a summary to the leadership. It could be the CEO or the NECXO. Right? So this is called agentic automation. Right? Some of, let's take the earlier example of invoice automation. Right? So sometimes you might say, hey, no, listen, I don't even have the time to scan the invoice and then digitize it. I want it to happen automatically. Right? So then what you can do is, which we actually did for one of our clients, we basically told them, just connect your email inbox to the AI agent, right, to this automation flow. So as and when purchase invoices come into your email, it will automatically fetch the attachment from that email and then process it and store it in your accounting software. Right? So this is an end-to-end automation. Some of our clients said, I want a summary of what is happening on a daily basis. So what we then do is, at the end of every day, we take a summary of all the invoices that were digitized and then send that summary on WhatsApp. And all of this is automated end-to-end. There's no manual intervention. So these 3 use cases are very simple and you can get started with them right off the bat. Right? But this can happen if you have your data available digitally. Right? Some of the clients that we work with, especially certain MSMEs, they didn't have a digital system with all their data. It could be inventory data, quality data. So we ended up building a simple AI-powered ERP called Zubcon, which we used to track 4 main things: inventory, logistics, production planning, and quality. Right? And with these 4 data available as in real time, we were able to do a lot of intelligent planning. Right? For example, inventory planning is something I'm sure all of you here would have done. So the advantage of doing this in this ERP is that any ERP for that matter, if you link AI to that ERP, it will fetch the information in real time, right? What is the inventory levels? It could be raw material, work in progress, finished goods. It will fetch the inventory in real time. It will also have access to the schedule data as to how much production needs to happen. It will also know what is the lead times for your raw material supplier. It will know how much time it will take to deliver raw materials. And based on these multiple constraints, it will arrive at the most optimal level for your inventory. Right? So this way you can avoid stockouts and you can maximize your margins and minimize your stock holding cost. Right? Then we've also brought in something called as anomaly detection, which is basically it finds out mistakes or outliers in your inventory data. This could happen because of pilferage or because of a lot of other reasons. So in this particular AI system, whenever it spots an anomaly, it automatically checks with all the stakeholders involved and does an auto stock reconciliation without any manual intervention. It will check with all the stakeholders involved and get the right quantity and update the system accordingly. Then if you have an ERP, the AI system will also get access to your supplier database, right? And once your the inventory levels go down, it can automatically create a purchase order and send it to that particular supplier. Again, fully automated. Right? When it comes to production planning, right? Most of the times production planning is dictated by two things, right? Your objective is to maximize capacity utilization and also based on a lot of delivery priorities given by your customer. Right? So what we do is we take in all these factors into consideration, right? It could be the cycle time, right? It could be the total turnaround time for sub-suppliers. We take the delivery priority given by the customer, and internally also you'll have a lot of delivery priority as you like to, ship out the orders where you have a huge margin. Okay, so we take all of these things into priority. Especially there's a huge issue with setting changeover time. Right, you will have to do multiple settings, and there's a lot of time that gets wasted, which is completely non-value add. We would like to minimize that. So we feed in all these constraints and figure out the most optimal production path for manufacturing. Excuse me. Okay, and this works across the system, not only internally across workstations, but let's say you have tier 2 or tier 3 suppliers or subcontractors, it works even with them. So it takes everything into consideration, including logistics. Whatever was calculated here gets fed into the logistics module, which helps it plan the milk run intelligently. So it will tell the logistics system, hey, you go pick up this first, this second, and this third, and also ensures that the vehicle capacity is optimized completely. Right? All right. And also warehouse optimization is another thing which we added later on as a feature, because initially what happens is we realized that whenever a vehicle reaches a particular location, it is stranded there for a long time without moving. And when we actually looked into it, we realized that loading, there are a lot of obstacles in the process of loading the material onto the truck, right? It might be misplaced, or there might be some obstruction in between. So we came up with the warehouse optimization module, wherein we tell the a plant head or whoever is in charge there that organize your material in such a manner that it aids in seamless shipping, right? Okay, so these were some use cases that we discussed, which were on the planning side of AI. But now let's look at some of the computer vision use cases, wherein we'll use photos or videos available in the factory and run some intelligent analysis on it. Okay, so one thing which I would like to actually address here is, yes, computer vision has been there in plants for a long time. The only difference with AI is that it's become way more cheaper now. Right? You no longer need some special cameras to run computer vision analysis. Even your mobile camera or even a CCTV camera, which is already in place inside your factory, can be used to run computer vision analysis. Right? So one of the simplest use cases is called as object counting. So this is just a demonstration of how we can do object counting. So you can see that over here, you can demarcate a zone and say that only count the objects within that zone. You can clearly see that the sheep inside the zone are being counted, and they get counted as they cross a particular line. So this is possible, again, using the CCTV footage in your company. So this can actually be applied for counting objects as you load material onto a truck. Right? As soon as you load the material, you can just click a photo and it will immediately tell you the quantity that has been loaded onto the truck. Right? So another use case is visual inspection. Right. See, visual inspection again has been there for a long time. It basically does, physical inspection of whether there are any rust or dent or any defects in that. It will also check if there are any components are missing in that particular assembly. If there are any operations that were missed out, it can do all of this. But it works only for certain types of components. It doesn't work for all types of components. This is something. This is of all the use cases that we are discussing today. Only this use case hasn't had very good adoption in the industry because it doesn't work for a lot of components. But having said that, it is very cheap to try it out. So you can actually try it out and see if it works for you. If it doesn't work out, you can just stop it. Right. And next comes ergonomic analysis. Right? So you might have seen this wherein you use a camera, again your CCTV camera, to check the biomechanic position of the workers. You can see how they're actually operating and how they're lifting weights and all of that. And the color of the skeleton that you see here will change accordingly once they move out of the optimal position. You can define the angles that they should use. What should be the hip angle, what should be the elbow angle, and so on and so forth. When they move away from that range of angles, the color of the stick diagram over here would change, and it will also give you alerts. Right? This now has been incorporated in along with the surroundings of that particular worker. Right? Now you can, in addition to the worker, you can also track other things like the tooling station, the assembly line, and other things, and see how he moves around the station and how they actually operate. You can see the number of steps that they take between the different stations. You can see how much time they take to, for setting or for accessing a tool or so on and so forth, and then optimize accordingly. Right. Then, yes, this is basically inspecting if everyone is following the safety protocols, right? And if someone isn't following a safety protocol, you can give them an alert. You can also probably even connect this with the speaker system, wherein you can immediately call out that person's name and say, hey, listen, wear your helmet or wear your gloves. Because you now, with face recognition, which is already, I think, part of a lot of CCTV systems, you just integrate this with your CCTV and you can tell them, hey, listen, so-and-so, please wear your helmet or so on. And again, automated. And the same thing also applies for safety zones. So let's say there's a gangway where people shouldn't be standing for too long, right? But let's say they can stand there for 15, 20 seconds. You can define that. And if someone is standing there for too long, it'll immediately send out an alert. And these speakers can be placed right there, or these speakers can be placed elsewhere or so on. You can, or intimate someone saying that someone has been standing on there for a long time. Right? Yes, and now we'll move on to another segment of applications, which is very applicable for new product development. In new product development, a lot of inertia happens when you have to create CAD drawings, right? But now you can create CAD drawings just like you chat with ChatGPT, right? You just give text prompts, right? And it will immediately start generating images. So here's a simple demo. Right over here it says design a mounting plate that is 12 inches wide and 6 inches tall. Put 4 holes in each corner for 10 fasteners. Right? You given this command and it immediately generates a CAD drawing, which can then be downloaded, and then you can probably download it as the AutoCAD file. You can use it in your own system and make changes. Right? So not only can you design it here, but you can also start optimizing it here. Over here you can see that on the left side, you'll see all the various dimensions that you had given or instructions that you had given, and you can just edit it using text, and you'll see things change on the right side. Right? This actually makes it easy for you to experiment and see if certain things are possible, and then probably you can take that raw CAD diagram and reach out to a professional and enhance that diagram. Perfect. And another interesting use case that is slowly coming up is extraction of data from engineering drawings. Right? So all you need to do is you upload your engineering drawing into the system, into this AI system. It will automatically extract key features. It could be dimensional features, it could be other specifications mentioned at the bottom. Right? It will extract these features and it will automatically send it into an Excel sheet or your own database. Right? But it doesn't stop there. Right? You can have an automation flow wherein as soon as you receive a drawing, you immediately feed it into the system. The system will calculate all the possible operations that are required to do this, manufacture this particular component, right? What is the cost involved? Because you already would have fed in the cost involved for each operation supplier-wise in your system. It will fetch the costs from there and it will automatically immediately give you a quotation, and then you can add a margin to that quotation and send out the quotation. So yes, this is another use case for me. And I think that kind of brings me to the end of all the use cases that I had planned to discuss. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to address them, or we can even take it offline.
Sir, I have a question. So whatever the tool you have told looks, how the practical it is. Is all open tool or it is all chargeable tool?
Which tool are you referring to? So it's combination.
Knowledge AI, what we have talked about.
It's all open source. Whatever we spoke about today, everything, starting from the very beginning, the first three tools to be very specific, which is document AI, knowledge agents, and agentic automation, is completely open sourced. So you can just download that open source file and start using it according to your requirement.
How secure this data, sir? Our data, because you are asking us to upload all our data. How secure it would be? That is the biggest question for everybody's mind, right?
Agreed.
It's our own data, our vendor, maybe our purchase cost, whatever it is. Then how secure it is?
So there are two parts to this answer. First part, I think China already has all the data, so you don't have to worry about that. But coming back, it's easy to have security protocols now because all these servers are now, since you rightly mentioned open source, you'll be deploying these solutions in your own server environment, right? Or in your own local server. So the data that we use will be restricted to that server. It will not even go to any cloud server of that particular company, right? So as of now, if you're using one of the popular cloud service providers, it could be Amazon, it could be Google, or it could be Microsoft, they've all brought in a lot of security and safety protocols to ensure that the data doesn't leak.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions, sir?
This visual inspection, counting objects.
Yes, sir.
While servicing large, say, pressure die casting dies, we have to dismantle so many small bolts and nuts and core pins, HT pins and all. Maybe about even 20, 30, 40. It will be very difficult for the die maker to keep in track of all this. Is it possible to use this technology?
Yes, sir. Provided there is a camera somewhere near where they're standing, which can constantly keep monitoring that particular space. It can let you know if some unwanted object comes into that space, or even if a required object leaves that space. So you can constantly keep track of all the objects in real time. It will constantly keep tracking what is there in that space. You can define what are the objects. Probably, let's say there's a bill of material or something like that. You can say there are so many parts that needs to be in this particular space. It will track and check if all the components are present over there. Did I answer your question, sir?
Give the number of same type of screws and nuts. Can this AI can give? Will it be able to give the same sizes of the nuts and bolts? Same.
Not with accuracy, sir. No, sir. As of now, I think the AI-powered computer vision is not very accurate to give size. It will give you a size, but as of now, the accuracy is only 90% to 95%. It's never reached 100%. So when it comes to quality, I think we're still a little further away. Probably in a few years' time, it will be there.
Sir, good morning. This is Balu from GR Metalize.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, I also wanted to check the same type of counting. Whether it is because we are having a palletization of ingots, which has been kept and delivered. Whether it is possible to, because you have mentioned in the photograph that ships are going, that time it is getting counted. But whether it is possible to palletize the ingots and whether it is able to count it, because it will be easy for us to count when it is in the when it is loaded in the vehicle, something like that.
So let's say you place a camera somewhere, sir, and if all the items individually are visible to the camera, then yes, sir. Most of the times what happens is when we are loading, especially let's say we're loading in boxes or something, there is some occlusion. It's not very clearly seen.
No, it is clearly seen.
Then it is definitely possible, sir.
Yeah, but it will be kept
moving.
No. Actually, it will be like pallets the bottom from 5, 10, like that it will come, and horizontally, and it will be loaded in the vertical side also.
Yes. There might be some fine tuning required over here, sir. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there is some experiment, I would say, number of iterations involved before we can actually achieve accuracy. But it's definitely possible, sir.
Possible.
It's 100% possible. It's just about matter of accuracy. When over here we actually need 100% accuracy. We can't have 95% accuracy because then inventory will not be accurate. So that is the only challenge, sir. But it's possible. You can experiment with it and see if it works. Again, it's plug and play, so you don't have to invest too much money in it. If you can find some tech guy, they'll just quickly plug and play and see if it is working for you. If not, you just need one video, sir. You can just shoot one video. You don't need to even install any infrastructure there. You just shoot one video on your phone and then load it into the AI system and see if it's able to count properly. If it, let's say, achieves around 80% accuracy, then you can pursue it and fine tune it and take it to 100% or 98% or something. But let's say upfront it is around 50, 60%, then you can drop it. So this is how, I think this is the easiest way to check if it will work for you. So, thank you.
Insightful and wonderful presentation on AI application.
Thank you.
Now, I would request our council member, Mr. Arumugam, to Angavastram, please. Invite Mr. Bakul M. Shah to present the memento, please. Thank you, sir. Now we have come to the end of the first session. Now let us break for tea. Now it is 10:58. By 11:10, we will reassemble after tea and we'll start the next session, please.